Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of my vlog. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry that I taken a couple days off here. As I was already telling you that I may not have a vlog every day. I will certainly will try, and I will try to have a good half hour to talk about things that I think that I really feel like I would need to be talking about. And today is pretty much what's been going on in the news as of for the last couple of days. It's been kind of very interesting to say the least about what's been going on in the news, and we're going to be diving into that here in just a moment. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing here today. Is we're going to be diving into that here and let you know what's been going on. Hold on, sorry about that. Still learning about how to do this stuff. Got this technology graphics here. And it's like do this, do that, and the graphics don't want to work sometimes, right? So, but hi, we'll get this all ironed out. We'll get it to go take and work properly, right? Yeah, we will. So, it's just a one man crew, using OBS as my one man crew here, and we gotta learn how to do this kind of stuff here, and yeah, I mean, what can you do? You gotta learn. You gotta know what you're doing, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, just to think about this. That I can do this kind of stuff here, and uh, you know, it works. It really does. By the way, my name is Scoopy. I go by Scoopy, but my name is Gary. If you want to know about that. So yeah, so we got a lot of good stuff to talk about here today, like I was saying already. So first off, let us talk a little bit about some of the news that's been going on here. Of course, with Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Carter died back on December 29th. We all know about that. And so he was 100 years old. He made it to 100. One of the one of the first presidents ever to make the 100, and he made it back on October 1st for that. So congratulations to him on that part. That was a milestone to actually make it to 100, and then he passed away back on December 29th. So never made it to the new year, or never made it for another 4 years. To see if we could get a woman in charge as president of the United States. He voted for Kamala Harris, of course. Everybody knows about that. And it just never materialized that he would have done that. So, but that was kind of with him and the president of the United States. He had some good and he had some bad. He came in after a big turmoil that went down with Nixon and with Gerald Ford, and the country was looking to see if a Democrat could actually change the whole mess that we were in, because we were in a mess and upheaval, and it was not a good thing actually to be um, to be to be honest, and it was not a good thing. It was not a good thing that the country was in this way and in this form, and it turned out to be even more disastrous with him being in office. We had the hostage situation in Iran. We had the inflation that took in. It started to actually start getting better when he was in office, but it was he was to be blamed for it. I talked about this recently to myself about the inflation problems that he had to deal with, and with the high gas prices, with the shortages of gas that we had back in the late 70s. There, he had to deal with all that kind of stuff, and it was not good. It was not a good time that the country was going through. So, and he had that 4 years, and it seemed like he was out of touch with the public, and he was more involved in the government situations. So he went out there to talk to the public and listen to them. But was it too late? Yeah, it was. It was too late for him to actually take and actually deal with the situation that he was in, and it turned out to be a disaster for him. It turned out not to be a good thing for him. And he learned the hard way. He lost with Reagan. Reagan went and took and actually was trying to actually get the vote back in 76. And then it turned out that was disastrous for him because the country was not wanting to have another Republican in office at that time because of what happened with Nixon. And, Ford lost. The that was that right there was kind of interesting seeing Ford and Reagan going after it, and Ford lost. So Ford was not even in the party, and it was just a disaster after another, and it just did not help the country. It did not help the country at all, and the country was going through a mess. It was going through a lot, and it was not a good time for the country, and so he lost. I remember a time when they were talking about it with him, and he was talking about it with himself, with with how his daughter felt. It's kind of interesting. It's just he was like, okay, you're saying about your daughter, you're talking about your daughter, and your daughter had something to do with it. Apparently, I really don't really understand the whole situation and what he was meaning by it. And it's like, okay, your daughter is like 14 years old. Okay, at the time she was. It was Amy Carter. People remember that, right? And he was talking about it. And it's like your daughter doesn't like how the country's going, or your daughter says, "Hey, you're doing a good job. Keep up, Dad." She didn't care less at the time about what her father was doing. She was a teenager, for heaven's sakes. She didn't care. So it was like, okay, you're saying stuff like this, and you're putting words maybe in her mouth from her mouth. I don't know. The whole situation was really interesting at that time, and he turned out to be probably one of the best presidents after his presidency. Actually, he did a lot of uh, Habitat for Humanity. One of the things that he actually did, and he was a good spokesperson for the Habitat for Humanity. The other thing was the guinea worms, the guinea worm epidemic in Africa. He really took and look at how many that we only have in guinea worms. I think was last year or the following year, back in 2023. It's the recent statistics. 14 of them only back in 2023 were diagnosed with guinea worm. So um, the eradication of guinea worm is almost to the point where there is none. There is none at all. So his legacy will live on, and his grandson Jason Carter will continue with it, and the Carter administration, the Carter legacy will continue living on even after his death. Both of him and his wife Rosalind Carter's they will live on through their grandkids and their great grandkids and their kids. So that's a really good idea. That's a really good thing, actually. It's really a very testimonial there, just to think about how this whole thing will go on with him, and his legacy. So, thank you so much. And he covered it really good. I I was I was I was actually taking I was actually uh, you know taking the chance to actually see the coverage, and the coverage was excellent. The coverage was just on its tee, and it's good that we actually had good coverage there with the about the guinea worm and what went on. So yeah. Oh, let's see. What else can we talk about here? Um, some of the other things that in other news that's been going on. We have had the Western wildfires that ABC News has been covering as well. Very good coverage of the Western wildfires that has been going on. Um, that is a really good thing. Um, Not good and to the point where there's been loss of lives, loss of homes and property. That is not good, but a good coverage that they're doing. Uh, I was listening to another reporter from another network, and they were talking about how the Western wildfires have been. Uh, it's a wind-driven thing, of course. We all know about that, uh, and the winds have driven this wildfires to the point where he was saying that it's almost like a hurricane of some sort. And I was like going like, really? That's very interesting to say it would be like a hurricane. And when I come to think about it, like he's probably right about that. That it's almost like a hurricane, the season of hurricane season, but there's a season for wildfires. Remember, there used to be a time where there was uh, a season for wildfires, and now it seems to be that it doesn't matter if there's a season or not a season at all for wildfires. So, especially in California, he was talking about the Pacific Ocean. So it was always told that the Pacific Ocean had the calmer winds. The Atlantic Ocean had the problem with the wild winds, the hurricanes. So people ventured out to California into the Pacific because the oceans there were more calmer, less winds. Nothing would happen, with the with the Pacific, and instead of the with the Atlantic, of course. So they progressed over to California. Well, anyways, we purchased California from Mexico, and the western, the whole situation with the western part, we actually started, buying the land off Mexico, and having it as our property, of course. So this thing was, um, they had the eastern side of the winds would come inward, of course, from land, and it would be circling east to west. So you get that motion. Well, anyway, it would come up, through Mexico and come through New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, all those areas right there. And it would be, uh, it was called the Santa Ana winds. It was named after a saint, apparently. I don't know why they would name it after a saint. Santa Ana, Saint Anna, Saint Anna, Saint Anna, Saint Anna. That's what it was. People think it says Santa Ana. Well, it is Santa Ana, but it's Saint Anna. Saint Anna. Saint Anna wins. So Saint Anna wins were, I don't know, don't ask me why that they named it after a saint like this. Was she an evil saint? I don't know. But they called it the Saint Anna winds. And um, that's how it got its name. And it was a ferocious and it was a dangerous winds. Apparently, this saint was from Mexico, so that's how it was named Saint Anna. But was it because she was, did she give like the United States, like, you bought our land, and now the United States is not a Christian country, you're going to pay for it? Maybe that was the case. I do not know. How about if I do? How about if I do a little digging up of this here, since we have some time, and see what it means? So let's see. We'll call it. We'll put it in Google. The Saint Anna winds. So the Saint Anna winds. Wikipedia has about it, actually. So the Saint Anna winds, also sometimes called the devil winds. It's the devil winds. Yes, the devil winds are strong, extremely dry, climatic winds that originate inland and affect the coastal Southern California and northern Baja California. They originate from a cool, dry, high-pressure air mass in the Great Basin. So the Great Basin, of course. Or they call it the Santa Ana winds, are known for the hot, dry weather that they bring in. So they are the Santa Ana winds, but they bring in the autumn, often the hottest of the year. But they can also arise at other times of the year. They often bring the lowest relative humidities of the year to coastal Southern California and beautifully clear skies. These low humidities combined with the warm, compressionally heated air mass plus high wind speeds create critical fire weather conditions and fan destructive wildfires. Typically about 10 to 25 Santa Ana wind events occur annually. So Santa Ana winds can blow from 1 to 7 days, with an average wind event lasting 3 days. The longest record of Santa Ana event was 14-day winds back in November 1957. The damage from the high winds is most common along the Santa Ana River basin in Orange County, the Santa Ana Clara River basin in Ventura, and Los Angeles counties through Newhall Pass into San Fernando Valley of Los Angeles County, and through the Cajon Pass into San Bernardino County near San Bernardino, Fontana, and Chino. So, the Santa Anas are, let me see, about how did it become known as? The name, etymology, I guess. So, the best accepted explanation for the name Santa Ana winds is that it derived from the Santa Ana Canyon in Orange County, one of the many locations where the winds blow intensely. Newspaper references to the name Santa Ana winds appear as far back as 1882. So, for the Riverside Press Enterprise back in 2020. According to research done by Orange County historian Chris Jepson, the first reported reference to that term comes to us in 1871 from Anaheim Gazette. To anyone in that would become Orange County, or anyone in what would become Orange County at that time, the winds seemed to come out of Santa Ana Canyon, hence the name. However, having Santa Ana winds named for their city did not please the members of the Chamber of Commerce in the city of Santa Ana, and they fought for years to get the name changed. So the name Santa Ana Wind became nationally known following a sensationalized back in 1801 wire story about the wind damage. One narrative claimed that the term Santa Ana Wind derives from a Native American phrase for devil wind that was then altered by Californians into this form of Santa Anas, or meaning Satan, and then still later corrupted into Santa Ana. However, an authority on local Native American languages claims that they suppose Indicia's term Santa Ana never existed. No evidence has never emerged to support this explanation, and is likely a false etymology. In 1933, Father John O'Connell of the Mission of San Juan Gasparino reported that Don Jesus Aguilar, or Jesus Aguilar, born in 1855 at Gasparino, said that in his day the winds had become called the Elba Venetro del Norte, or the North Wind. So, yeah. So there's a lot of different reasons why that the was named, but that was just one of them that I just wanted to give my take on. So there we go. A little bit of tidbit for all of you to know about the Santa Ana winds and why it's named Santa Ana. Right. Oopsie. Sorry. We're still learning this. Sorry about that. So, yeah. What about my journaling that I wanted to go take an action do here for you today? Just a little bit more time left here. So, about my journaling, or about me, per take. There's not much really going on, really. Last few days, I actually took some time off, so I'm getting back onto the saddle, or the horse, so to speak, I guess you could say. And I am doing fairly good. I feel good. I feel pretty calm. Gotta stop drinking caffeine, especially coffee. Yeah, stop drinking this coffee. Coffee and pop. I love Pepsi Zero. And pop is so expensive nowadays, seriously. And it's not good. It's not good for you either. Water is pretty good for you. I gotta just get back onto the high horse of water and drink water. Make sure I drink the water instead of not drinking any water at all. And also just make sure that I don't spend all my money on food. Food is one thing that I gotta be very careful with, because food can get you in trouble if you eat too much. It happens. Sometimes it happens, and other times it doesn't. I don't know. But we just need to take and be more diligent. Our food, it seems like our food supplies and shortages are coming to the point where there's eggs are so expensive nowadays. We have meat and poultry, things like this that are very, very expensive, and we need to really be very alert, be very diligent on what we actually go take and actually use it for, because if we abuse it, we won't have our money to survive these days. I need a job, actually. I got the resume polished up again. So hopefully that will be a good thing, and that it will uh, have a better feel, better taste in my stomach, and that they will be much more happier with what I have put down, and that they will look at my resume when I start applying. Um, it, I'm trying my best. That's about all I can say. I'm trying my best, and I'm needing to, you know, do what I can to survive, and doing what I can to, to do the best I can. So that's what I'm trying to do. So, can't think of anything else really to talk about. Um, Sorry that I ended on a more of a somber note. I started on a somber note, but we actually got on to some good things. Uh, Keep your thoughts about the people that are in the wildfires, and especially in California right now. They need our thoughts and they need our prayers. Keep them, and yeah, everybody needs to keep them in their thoughts and their prayers at this moment in time. They're going through a lot of rough spots, and they need our thoughts. And what else? Stay good to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. And I will see you once again for episode 4 next time when we come. Hopefully I'll be here tomorrow to give you episode 4. I can't do no guarantees, but we'll see where we're at. Until next time for episode 4, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And stay true to